The U.S. soldier killed in eastern Afghanistan earlier this week was identified Friday as Sergeant First Class Christopher Solis. Solis is the fourth American combat death in Afghanistan this year. Soldiers killed in Afghanistan in 2011 include not only Sergeant Solis, 2018, excuse me, but Army Corporal Joseph Masil, Army Sergeant First Class Mahil Golan, and Army Specialist Gabriel Kandi. So what needs to be done about this deadly year in Afghanistan and the overall mission there? We want to make sure these men right there who gave their lives for a cause defending our nation and our interests. Joining me now to weigh in, retired Marine Corps Lieutenant Colonel Scott Cooper. Scott served 2 tours in Afghanistan during Operation Enduring Freedom. Colonel, thanks for being here this morning. Every life lost on the battlefield is someone we remember, and we're grateful for their sacrifice. You want to make sure they're serving in service of a mission and an outcome that benefits our country. What are we doing in Afghanistan right now, and what does winning look like there?
Well, good morning, Pete. Thanks for having me on the show.
Of course.
You know, the question that you ask and the death, especially of Joseph Masil, brought me back to 7 years ago when I lost one of my best friends in the Marine Corps, Lieutenant Colonel Ben Palmer, that was killed in a similar green-on-blue incident. We're in Afghanistan because we have strategic interests there. We do not want Afghanistan to be a place that harbors terrorists and al-Qaeda. That was the same mission it was 17 years ago when I first went to Afghanistan. So there's strategic interests there. Remember, Afghans are in the lead. There's only 14,000 troops in Afghanistan today, and we are partnering in a by, with, and through strategy to assist the Afghans to build a more secure country.
Yeah, no, see, when I was there, the mission was the same as well, but a lot of Americans step back and say, okay, we've been there for 17 years. That has been our mission for 17 years. If the Afghans really are in the lead, then why is the Taliban taking more and more ground, influencing more and more of the countryside? And we're talking about peace talks with the Taliban. So has our strategy been effective?
You make a great point there. The Trump administration strategy, that was articulated is that we are going to assist the Afghans and with them being in the lead. I think about my last time in Afghanistan some 8 years ago. We had almost 100,000 troops there. We have about 14,000 troops there now. And that strategy includes that we're partnering with them and that they're going further afield. And that means that you're eating with them, you're sleeping with them, you're fighting alongside them. And that creates a little bit more risk. What does success look like? I think success looks like a more stable Afghanistan and also using all the tools of national power. I was heartened to see that Secretary of State Mike Pompeo was there recently talking about the strategy. That means that it's not a military solution. Secretary Mattis has said we can't kill our way out of this, and that using things like the State Department, USAID, and doing all of those to build a more secure Afghanistan.
But, I mean, Afghanistan's like biblical times with AK-47s and cell phones. I mean, you're building something very different than you would build here. The key question is when our 14,000 leave, is the Afghan military up to the task to take on the radicals?
We can hope that they're up to the task. I think that we will continue to be there this is a generational struggle, and we'll continue to be partnered with them in whatever capacity that is, and that means that we're going to continue to train them. I mean, who would have ever thought 17 years ago that we'd be training forces in Niger? We're doing that today. And so we have an interest in training legitimate forces that are going to be able to
hold on when we leave. Absolutely.
Precisely.
Absolutely. Lieutenant Colonel Scott Cooper, thank you for your service and for your expertise this morning. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Pete.
You got it. Well, once again, this morning, we remember these 4 brave Americans. Army Sergeant First Class Christopher Solis, Army Corporal Joseph Masil, Army Sergeant First Class Mahil Golan, and Army Specialist Gabriel Kandi. Our nation will not forget them and their sacrifice.